used in their previous game. It was Saint on the Yone, it was Oddie on the Sejuani,
Yeah.
so Dignitas are like, very straightforward research here. Immediately ban what you successfully used last game.
That's called, and you know, that's not necessarily result-based analysis, but it's called doing your homework. Let's put it that way. They were watching the VODS. Vi as well. It has been a prominent blue 1 pick here. So Nafiri still up. Maybe Lion go for that one. Body Lane wants to play something more aggressive.
Yeah, I feel like I really do like when Oddie is on some frontline like utility stuff.
Sure.
We'll see though, because if they do get Lion on you know, another one of these like CC supports, then you can have Lions you know, playing a lot with him, and we've seen that very successful. Regardless, Varus is still the first pick of the LTA, and what's going to be the answer? I'm a huge fan of Flex Gwen really early in the draft. Yep. Very viable for both of these players. Actually saw Sheiden playing jungle Gwen just yesterday, and Srtty definitely a fan of the champion as well.
It opens up drafts so much, and it gives such a headache to Lion, especially players like Licorice, to think, okay, what do you go for? But they still have Nafiri as an option.
Answer your immunity with an immunity of my own.
True.
Gwen is immune,
but are all
and
immunities,
Nafiri is untargetable.
Are all immunities created equally?
No, they are not.
Nafiri's a little better.
Yeah, Nafiri is a little better because she can start a tower dive and then pop it and back right out. So Oddie is on the Nafiri train. That means that we're already looking down towards the support roles for Lions. You know, you really want to get some setup support there to be able to you know, play with the rest of the team and specifically with your jungler. But Dignitas first, are they going to answer jungle here or mid lane? Since the Ryze was also picked, it looks like jungle so far.
I would have hated something like an Azir, but no, instead it's a Xin Zhao. So they're not holding that flex pick. Instead, they're opting to put Srtty on the Gwen and then give Sheiden that Xin Zhao. The reason I think of things like Azir is because you have the range advantage over the Ryze plus the Ezreal, but now Saint will have, in my opinion, a easier to you know, deal with frontline that's diving him. You're gonna be within the Gwen and the Xin Zhao circles most of the time doing your spells anyway.
Yep, and they also get 2 protection bans for him now since Dignitas decided to drop their mid lane pick until the 2nd round. So a couple of protection bans, the Azir that you mentioned, plus something else here. I mean, like into the deep dark technologies would be like the Anivia tiers, but we shall see. The engaged support of choice they ban out is the Nautilus. There are still so many up here though, with the Leona, with the Rel type of champions available. They can easily incorporate one of those.
And it's a Talia ban
if they want on the other side.
So Talia, Azir are the ban. So Tristana! Well, that's exciting. Tristana presumably into the mid lane, as long as everything else goes according to plan. And that's going to be support counter pick here for Dignitas.
Yeah, and so, all right, what's it going to be here? Leona, Rel, Alistar, okay.
So a little engaged.
Alistar versus a Xin and a Gwen, you know, to work with. Gwen can sometimes like really chop through the Alistars though, with the true damage, so it can become problematic. But they round it out with a Wukong as well. I mean, they can flex. Like Nafiri is also still flexible, but I'm assuming it's still jungle Nafiri. And it is going to be the top lane Wukong.
What's interesting is Wukong notoriously, unless, you know, sometimes these little sneaky patches happen, but he has low magic resist. Like one of the lowest, if not the lowest in the game base. So into the Gwen would be a tough matchup. In my head, don't know the matchup intricately.
They could leave the Nafiri flex in the hands of Licorice too if they want to keep switching it around.
No, looks like it's going to.
Doesn't look like they want to. They did, the reason I say that is because they did on one of the last hotfixes buffed up the minion damage of the Q when they were tapping down on Nafiri's overall power because they wanted to like balance the lane power versus the jungle power, and there you go. They did do it.
So the Nafiri does do laning slightly, you know, better.
Yeah, the Q damage to minions was one of the things that actually were beneficial for the lane Nafiri, even though overall the hotfixes were definitely big nerfs and detrimental, especially like the Q cooldown on your E, but still the mobility of Nafiri into Gwen does sound pretty good. Sounds like it would be hard for Gwen to land the final snip of her snip, because Nafiri is able to dodge pretty effectively.
And I gotta say, Kobe, we're getting treated in opening weekend. No best of 3 fearless, we're in best of 1s. We're still getting some very exciting compositions. Top lane Nafiri.
Also, top lane, both of them are going teleport ignite.
Oh!
Double teleport ignite.
Let's go.
Top lanes. Someone's gonna die. Someone's gonna burn to death.
Srtty versus Licorice, veteran versus newcomer. Can Srtty hang with Lyonz as a top laner? And again, also the mid lane matchup going to be very impactful for Keine. Tristana, very strong into that Ryze from memory. I mean, it's been a while since we've seen Tristana played that much in the mid lane, but in my head, it just seems like you're going to be able to bully the Ryze early on, just push this wave and have that early shove.
Meanwhile, and speaking of, the early shove, I would look at the bottom lanes because Ezreal Karma double poke here into an Alistar. You're going to think, Tomo and Isles, they've actually played together a very long time on previous teams in multiple leagues. And them with an Ezreal Karma here, generally versus Alistar lanes, when the Alistar is still level 1 and cannot combo you, you really want to make the most out of your poke, kind of bully them, get them under tower, and push them through. Meanwhile, this is Lyonz, first split actually being here.
Yes.
So as far as live games played together, him and Hena just have yesterday that they're going off with their synergy.
Notably, it said on stage. That's very literal right there. So this is only the second time that Hena and Lyonz have been sitting next to each other on the LTA stage. Will it be beneficial for them? They picked up their first win yesterday. They'd like to keep the ball rolling. They could start off 2-0. That'd be a fantastic start. And they do have supporters in the audience as well.
Not much a level 1 Alistar can do in the face of the poke, so Isles going to step up, he has brush control, continue to harass as much as he can, then dodge back into the brush, drop the minion aggro. Meanwhile, they also still want to maintain their push, and Wukong is starting bot side, pathing up towards the double teleport ignite lane, which if I ever see that, I am always pathing up towards these no-flash top laners. Both Nafiri and Gwen do have their own dashes built into their kits, though. That's why they feel like they can afford to run without a flash, without that extra mobility summoner. But jungler's getting up there might make it a little bit more dicey. Meanwhile, Sheiden is pathing down towards his Ezreal Karma, which you do like to see since they want to play off that pressure, shove you under tower, poke you while you're under there, and work off some turret plate money.
And Tomo did take one turret shot there, but otherwise, this is what we're expecting. A health advantage for them because they have that range advantage, constant shoving in as well. I want to talk about that mid lane matchup a little bit more too as well, set the expectations, because Ryze notably takes a couple of items to really come online, and if you're constantly shoved in farming under turret, he's already missed about a wave's worth here. Able to pick up a lot of that one, but this is a tough matchup for him because it's hard to really maintain that control, and as well your mana, you have to burn a lot of that to answer the push of a Tristana.
Certainly do, and maybe the Rod of Ages buff where you can start with a couple of ruby crystals there pretty early on, but it's a decent little trade. Again, the poke damage of Qs plus the dogs going and jumping immediately on you provides for such a strong advantage in lane, and Licorice really trying to abuse that. You see those Qs going through the minion wave plus hitting Srtty, trying to take advantage of those minion damage buffs as well as the very strong harassment.
And using his dodge ability on the snip means the Licorice is just heavily trading against Srtty. Sheiden now on the bottom side. They actually might look for a dive. Scary to do against an Alistar, and it's actually answered top side here. Oddie going for it early. First blood for Licorice. Successful dive. It is answered bot side. 1-for-1 cross map, but still first blood picked up by Lion.
Let's see about the push afterwards. Instant recall. Ooh, topside minion wave is just a little closer to tower, so it's going to push nicely towards Licorice as well. And Licorice with the first blood money got his pickaxe plus boots buy. Going to be very, very nice for him. Meanwhile, they're just going to send Srtty after that back down to the bottom side.
Not answered by Lion, because Licorice is still heading topside, and they just teleported Hena down bot. So Dignitas have the earlier delayed lane swap. I know it's not the same traditional starting lane in a lane swap, but we have seen a lot of teams do this once you know, we hit that 4-minute mark, they actually start looking for this. So we'll see if this gives Dignitas an advantage now, trying to get Gwen out of that Nafiri lane.
Yeah, Varus is pretty annoying too.
Yes.
To deal with as far as the lane. So Srtty might have gotten out of the fire into another fire as far as that lane goes. But it's just going to be the recall there for Hena. So they have the option here on their reset for Grubs. We're at 5 minutes, so 1 minute towards Grubs, and they're going to send the Varus on top side after quickly shoving that wave. Now we just have to look at Licorice on his recall since he's got his teleport. If you want to go and kind of swap on over, he's actually going to use it immediately. So first minion, does he get that melee?
It's a long channel. He gets it. All right.
Just in time.
It's all of them. All right.
Perfect teleport.
Another reset from Srtty, and he's going to save his TP. So this will be a teleport advantage now for Dignitas. But still early game. We'll see if that actually amounts to anything. Objectives are spawning here. 20 seconds for the Grubs. No one went for that early dragon. Instead, Sheiden's hovering the top side. So it looks like we're setting up for the Grubs.
And I would say level 5 Wukong, a pretty big disadvantage versus level 5 Xin Zhao. Xin Zhao really good at skirmishes. Unless Wukong gets to pull out some crazy like juke with his W, then straight up hand-to-hand combat, Xin Zhao beats you every day of the week. Wukong really needs ultimate, so you basically never take those Grub fights. He wants to go for the mid, a little pass-through instead. And it is going to mean at least the first Grub is taken without the use of Smite.
Sheiden actually goes in onto Lyonz, who's just trying to buy time for Saint to Realm Warp in, and now Sheiden could be in some trouble. Does not have the ultimate available. Saint might chase him down. Damage to push Sheiden out of the pit. No flash available as a 1v1 breaks out bot side. Srtty wins it! In the 1v1, still has the teleport, might be able to reset TP topside, and Lion know that, so they're going to back away.
Oh. That is a big one for Srtty. The solo queue god of North America says, nice counter pick. You got no teammates this time around, buddy. And they take him down. In the double ignite usage, they both just throw down. And the Gwen comes out on top.
Huge, because you get the kill, you get the wave in. Licorice has to run back. Srtty can TP back to lane. Let's get another look at that.
Alrighty, so he's only got one dog right now. Jumps in though, then you get him back. W resistances and the ulti, nice. Didn't really get to,
Yeah, he did dodge the first needle work.
Yeah, didn't get to dodge much with it. Ooh, let's listen in.
I'm dead.
Rough. Yeah, I mean, Licorice knows it. In those types of moments, it's tough, especially when you got that early kill on your lane opponent.
All right, let's see, because those types of matchups do snowball. You know, when it's ignite, teleport. Wait a second, teleport up to the top side to catch that big wave. Ezreal gonna head down bottom side to catch that one, so it's gonna be a much bigger wave for Ezreal that he gets as a reward here, and only gonna drop one of the melees before the cannon takes over aggro, so nice little swapperoni there. Since Dragon is the next objective on the map, you know you want to get your pieces in place here to fight that. And you can see Karma here, Isles doing the prep work for it as well. Into the enemy jungle, getting some wards leading up to it.
And nobody in range to get that turret plate that went down to the minions as well. So Dragon, like you said, is the focus. Currently, there's a couple of wards placed down by Lion. Flanking wards, but no teleports available, so I don't think that we'll actually see a big flank come through. It would just be a traditional front to back if we can get our front line set up. Lyonz is heading down there, but we actually have Oddie lane pathing topside, so he wants to grab these top camps. If Sheiden goes for the Dragon, he would be uncontested as of right now. Said it's some poke damage in the mid lane here, and Sheiden just waiting to decide where he wants to go, what he wants to do here. We see him on the mini-map, and now he's approaching the Dragon, so it looks like Dignitas will get the neutral objective. This is their second of the game, as they got all 3 Grubs, so they're on track to get the feats of strength.
Yeah, I mean, 1 kill for the feats of strength, plus only 1 more objective for whatever the objective one is called. And they also have been able to work off a lot of turret plate money. So I would have to say across the board going pretty well here for Dignitas in this opener. Aside from that tower dive at the very beginning of the game that Lion were able to pull off against Srtty, Really much everything else kind of going nicely according to plan there for Dig. But of course, Wukong, we always talk about the level 6 and level 7 here with Flash. Oddie Land is positioned to be able to make a play, so maybe you get to see the big Wukong moment. It's kind of hard to like choose where you're gonna make it though, and almost like has to be on the Gwen. But then it would have to be like, is he gonna go for like a lane gank or something, try and slip in there and like surprise the Gwen or something? Because Tristana is kind of hard to pull it off against because Kaine's got pretty good reaction time, and then Ezreal Karma also is like very avoidant.
Yeah, really already on top of them.
Yeah, so maybe if Lyonz can work with Oddie Land and you get the Alistar combo with the Wukong ultimate and Flash, they'll be able to pull off the big play they're looking for.
I will say Lyonz' night and day performance from when he was playing remote compared to yesterday when he was playing in person. He did find incredible engages as the Nico, and hopefully he's able to pull that off again here on the Alistar, because Wukong, I like it more as that secondary follow-up engage. Maybe the Chain of Corruption can set it up, but really it's Lyonz on the Alistar that I'm looking at as that guy to make action happen.
And this is it. This is where they want to make it happen. Vision control, though, very quickly taken by Dignitas.
Licorice big damage on the Keine, who actually jumps back in. And Licorice says, all right, bet. You have to Buster shot me away just to survive.
Yeah, ult for ult trade. Honestly, you know, not bad there. Not bad for Keine. The Ignite from Licorice was used. You know, Licorice does dodge the rocket jump with his W, but then just an ult for ult trade and teleport back for Keine after he gets his Yuntal. So Kaine's going to walk now. Kaine's holding his teleport at the moment until this grub fight actually goes off.
Oh, Lyonz looks for the big flank and is not able to land the pulverize, but Saint's in there as well. Now comes Oddie Land. Big cyclone damage on the Keine, flashes in. Hena with the kill secure. Srtty's looking for the flank right now in a 1v4 situation. He gets one. And that is Feats of Warfare secured as well in the middle of the fight. Dignitas pushing Lion away from the objective. Nice rebuttal. They should be able to get these grubs.
Ooh, a scrappy one. 2 for 1 here. Plus, as you say, though, the objective also going their way. Very quick on the feats of strength. Everything acquired here, presumably by Dignitas. As soon as this grub goes down, you get the alert, and that is full 6 grub buff, plus the feats, plus the gold lead here kind of ballooning for them. Dignitas looking strong.
And the earlier dragon stacking only one in their pocket right now, but let's get a replay because Lyonz has a nice flank.
So take a look at the flash here.
Ooh.
Yeah. And then the Realm Warp for Saint in the middle of the squad. Thought it might actually turn out okay for them, though, because Keine on the Tristana goes down pretty quick. But since Oddie Land flashed to commit to it, he also is like in trade. And then the opposite kill on the other side just meant that Dignitas get to fully control the area afterwards. They push him out. You know, they got the 2. Alistar down as well. Grubs, all 6 of them. And so Licorice here gets a little bit of alone time on tower, but he has no grub buffs, so it's very slow work taking that tower plate.
He gets a couple plates. I think that's 1, if not 2 in his pocket. But I think that that last engage highlights what you had just been talking about. Slippery to get on an Ezreal. Hard to get on the Karma. They have such good disengage, and Lyonz is feeling that one. They were not able to find the play, and now they're reeling a bit here. Dignitas have a strong position in this game. It's not over yet, but it's looking very favorable.
And so far, like, the early game is very kind of telegraphed now with, you know, grubs plus dragons, constantly one of them cycling and coming up.
Yep.
We're already looking forward to a very straightforward path. Next dragon coming up, 35 seconds here. So Dignitas, since they do have the advantage here, and they've got first item completions on basically everybody, actually everybody, they can just rotate down, move over all your resources here with your vision and everything to the dragon area, claim that first. Srtty does have the advantage in top lane, plus the teleport advantage. So Dignitas really have like all the cards to set up for this dragon as well. And it is going to be on Lion here to decide, do they actually get like, you know, some sneak attack on somebody? Because Licorice would have to start walking now. I think they're just gonna have to give it, unless they get like some crazy poke damage or something.
They do have a lethality Varus who can try and throw that damage in here, and a Cyclone onto Isles, flash away. Cyclone still lands onto Sheiden. They're now trying to continue his fight. Big damage, big poke from Tomo right there. Two-shot barrage onto all three members, Mystic shots, and they're still going in. Lyonz has to pop the ultimate, but Hena has no protection. Oh, flash from Tomo for the auto, will get it. Keine, rocket jumps in, knocks Lyonz to safety. Sheiden, though, has the karma speed, and another sidestep. Lyonz is alive.
Yo, Lyonz is definitely on land here with that dodge. He is in studio. He is on stage with that dodge.
That was a zero ping dodge right there. Ooh, Licorice shaking another one, going against Srtty this time. He's going to win it. It looks like the Ignite burn. One more auto. Can he dash in? There we go. Shut down for Licorice.
Okay. They get one back on the top side. The ego battle of teleport Ignite top laners does go their way, but unfortunately for Team Lyonz, they completely dropped the ball here towards the dragon fight.
Yeah.
I mean, they tried to, they did get karma. I guess they got Isles' flash, but then they stick around there, and Sheiden massively punishes them. Sheiden is the one that does so much of the damage. Really good use of his Xin Zhao ultimate. When Oddie is in on his Cyclone with his ultimate, Sheiden does not just like run away with Isles. Sheiden jumps right back in onto him because they got the root, because they got that full reveal. He got his W, and they go with the Xin Zhao ultimate. He immunes all of the Lion like counter damage. He even got it there with Hena's flash.
Yep.
Still getting the knock up because his auto attack had already started. And then Keine with the little save towards the end.
That made contact. That's crazy, but you know, still well done.
It's all right. They still got so many victories there in that fight. It's okay. They let one go.
Shaiden's up here. One becomes lightning hitting onto Oddie Limb, but not going to continue up with the follow. But Herald is now on the map as well, so Dignitas are just controlling the access points. They got their wards down. They're tracking Oddie Land to make sure he can't get in and actually force him to use the clone. And also poke on Alliance. So this is still just objective control being the name of the game for Dignitas. Lion have not really found a way to push them off of these. Even though the gold are very even, the objective's just so heavily in Dignitas' favor that you have to give them the advantage right now, unless Lion can find a way to slow these down.
Yeah, and the thing is, too, we've seen with a lot of games, even today specifically, even with one team controlling all the neutral objectives, as we set up for another one, they actually might go for this.
Yeah, watch for the engages. Again, it's Lyonz and it's Oddie Land. Sheiden actually toys around with the idea. Teleport in. This could be a flank from Saint. From Warp. Teleport in now from Srtty. Gonna have a proper 5v5, but currently Dignitas are grouped up as 5. Saint, again, on the flank, a little away from the rest of the team, and now Keine trying to take advantage of that, jumping in, but does not win that trade. Saint actually pumping damage right now, and Lion pushed Dignitas away. Now they're finding Sheiden caught up with the rest of the team. Crescent Guard not available. Sheiden goes down.
And Alistar got the shutdown with the Ignite tick, but it doesn't matter. It's still such a huge win.
Yeah.
Lions, they burned Shaiden's ultimate super early on the first engage, and they just waited it out. So pretty good taking advantage of that cooldown there. Then Kaine's they're playing a little bit loose with the Tristana, and he went off on the other side, losing out on that battle, and then Sheiden actually gets caught in the follow-up. So Lion pulling this one back, and just as we were kind of setting up the full objective domination of Dignitas, Lion themselves with a huge rebuttal, and Ryze getting tower gold up here is very big for their split push game later on. That Lion are going to try and bust out. So Rift Herald plus a strong Ryze could be a nice recipe for them. And Saint over here, he teleported first, so he arrives, instantly deletes the wave, and then gets over to the fight. There, you know the Xin Zhao ultimate is down, so then they kind of waited out. He actually spaced pretty well so that Srtty couldn't follow up on Kaine's rocket jumping forward. So nice little damage trade there from Saint, but then it is Sheiden who tried to walk back into his own territory, into the open arms of Licorice, who was waiting for him, who had hopped over the wall there with the Nafiri. So nice little wraparound, as it seemed like everybody was kind of distracted by Keine in the mid lane, and they were kind of looking that way, and they got distracted when they were kind of trying to reset. And
the reason I was excited for the Tristana into the Ryze was for the laning phase. I'm surprised at how quickly we've gotten to a point where Saint is just out DPSing the Tristana in that 1v1 though. Because that's one of those moments where, in my head, I'm thinking, oh, Tristana, you got to press the attack. Depending on what your items you have, you can maybe just take on the Ryze 1v1. That was not the case. So Saint showing that maybe this is not as ideal of a matchup.
And he did a good job with, like, he has bone plating for the initial, like, burst damage. So the bone plating, and then he used the phase rush afterwards, you know, for to control the distance, to get the better trade as he's trying to jump out. So
it's going to get worse.
It's definitely going to scale well. Ryze here with the double stacking items, of course. So that makes our game super fun here, Kangas, because 6 grubs on the side of Dignitas, but gold lead securely taken. After those last couple of plays by LYON, taking down these outer towers really does a lot for you there.
Yeah.
So this Ryze can have a lot more room to play with, and the realm warps become huge opportunities.
And suddenly, even though Dignitas had all the early objectives, Herald's picked up, mid-turret's cracked, Dragon spawning, and LYON have a gold lead approaching this fight, still with a strong scaling mid laner here who just fully stacked that Seraph. So I think LYON, yeah, this is where you stop the Dragon stacking. Dignitas, they had control over the early game, and now they have lost it. LYON are suddenly in the driver's seat and in a really strong position here because of their ability to play side lanes and also scale further into this game. Stopping the stacking is huge for them right now. Dignitas, even though they're positioned around the Otacon, they don't commit to it. Just Saint's presence there means that, nope, we cannot start this.
I want to see, too, since Nafiri on a little bit cheaper of 2 items here, since Eclipse is a fairly low cost one, gets to the 2-item power spike, and maybe he can try and force something on Srtty again. Like, the top lane Ignite teleport battles are one of my favorite parts about this game. He's not going to be able to go find him there. Wants to finish off a couple minions here towards tower. But I was hoping we were going to get another 1v1 because that would have been a great break point with Sojin Jun for Licorice. But now Srtty on reset after pushing that wave had enough money to finish Nashor's Tooth too. Yeah. So now the double item Gwen here, even though he is a level down still, I still think that Gwen is going to be an issue.
Yeah, I think Srtty needs to be one of the win conditions for Dignitas right now. If you can win that solo side lane, that will nullify some of Saint's advantage right now in that mid lane. 1.5 thousand ahead of Keine. Saint is a lot of that lead the LYON have for themselves right now.
Yeah, Keine, not only is it behind in gold, but a lot of the kind of rocket jumps and positioning from him has been a little bit suspect so far this game, so is going to really need to dial that in. Once he gets his Infinity Edge, he will be a real threat anyway. You have a lot of burst damage there with a Tristana, especially if you can roll some nice crits. Your Yuntal plus your IE could be an opportunity for him to kind of have some redemption in this game.
That's tough, though, when you have to put it down to rolling crits in order to do the damage necessary. It can still take a while before you have those item breakpoints to actually be a threat right now. And even the lane assignments right now, like, I don't think Kane's that safe against Licorice either, even with that range advantage right now. So Saint really is in a position to carry this game and just be that solo win con for LYON. The rest of the team as well not in a bad spot. We don't have any big objectives spawning for a while here, so we see these teams just going for very safe lane positions. LYONz is hovering the top side though, so Keine needs to be careful because if you're ever not paying attention, you could just get 100-0 during an Alistar combo.
I am also really watching Saint right now. That Ryze was wrapping around, looking for some extra deep split push pressure, but Licorice
is actually Licorice in trouble. He can try and jump away. Remember, no flash. Isles flashing forward to follow, and it looks like Licorice is punished. Shut down gold over to Keine. That will get a Tristana back into the game. Saint teleports topside, but the play is already over. You're just going to try and catch this wave.
I mean, the play is over, and you lose your teleport on your Ryze. The Ryze, the most powerful single person. He wants to make the most out of it. I mean, he's got phase rush, he can run away, but losing the teleport off Ryze is one of your biggest game pieces right now.
Yeah.
That's the most fed member of the team without having these split push plays available to you to answer the Gwen now. The Gwen is probably going to get a bunch of money free bottom tower. I guess Licorice in 15 seconds. Oh, here we go.
Realm Warp in onto Keine. LYONz as well. Keine uses the Buster Shot, flashes away, but everybody's diving onto the Tristana. Shut down for Saint, I suppose, as the teleport is coming in straight into the Cyclone. Now Srtty might want that one back. LYONz frontlining for the team, Sheiden frontlining for his, and it's actually Sheiden surviving for longer. Will get sniped by Hena. As the extended trade, 1-4-2.
They do get value out of it.
Yeah.
Saint sticks around and they force it with the Realm Warp. Keine down again. The flash use on the Tristana too. The rewards here for Lion should be huge.
And no engage.
They've got positioning here.
No needlework, no nothing. No smite steal either, so I think Lion, yeah, they're just gonna get this Otacon. Dignitas will have to watch it go down. Well, hey, look at that. We're getting an interesting game here, Kobe. It started off with Dignitas controlling nearly every single objective. 2 spawns of grubs, 2 spawns of dragon. They get the feats of strength, but then the second half of this game has been all Lions.
It was such a good force. I do like this replay because it shows the timing of the force means that they didn't even give up their tower. That was going to be the price for Saint teleporting up topside, but the Realm Warp makes it so good for them. Nice little snap at the very end there too, as Xin Zhao just timed out ultimate. But really good Realm Warp force. Keine here on the Tristana is having a very rough time, and it is not only the death cap, but the level 17 because the Rod of Ages also ticked over. So Saint is basically this game right now. Ooh. And with the Realm Warp plays that we have seen, definitely expect Lion to continue to put out that pressure and try and get these trap plays going for themselves. Because, I mean, Saint's almost level 18. He is very close to getting his 3-level lead over Keine, not to mention his 3-item power spike for the Ryze.
And upgraded, but Keine hasn't even upgraded his boots. That's how far in the hole Keine is right now compared to Saint. Not looking fantastic for Dignitas' chances here. They're going to need to have more of these side lane plays. It looked good to start getting the pick on the Licorice. The shutdown gold onto Keine, so trying to get the Tristana back in the game. But like he had said, because Srtty had to teleport, doesn't get that bottom turret immediately. It's still up. The composition with the Tristana is usually the one that I would put expectation to take these early turrets, yet to even crack 1.
We got the poke damage here because the jungle's fully lit up.
Corruption.
Fully lit up jungle here behind the Baron, so should just be kind of lying in wait, looking for this little bits of poke damage, looking for these trap plays on the side of Lion. They've got the Realm Warp, so every time Dignitas come over and try and make sure that they can check Baron and check this vision, it's an opportunity for Lion to actually go for a pick. Or Alistar can just headbutt Sheiden away. If Alistar just plays bodyguard here, the Baron's almost dead.
They won't even get a chance to go in here. Yep, as Lion will knock him away. Pulverize, but Sheiden might still get in. No, Baron is secured. Lion's taking up so much damage here on the other side of the wall as Saint will actually use the Realm Warp. Is that going to catch him? No. I like the attempt trying to get Lions out, but you'll sacrifice your cow for that Baron.
Yeah, thick part of the wall right there. Yeah, everybody wearing purple though. They're happy to sacrifice him. Let's see Dignitas. They're going to try and get like this low health tower, but Oddie and Saint are sticking around to defend.
Looks like the first turret will finally go down for Dignitas. Much needed gold in their pocket, but still the Red Bull Baron power play we expect to swing heavily towards Lion's favor. They're going for the resets now back onto the map. They can push in all of these waves, and Dignitas still have yet to find a way to stop Lion's comeback.
And just stop Saint.
Yeah, like what do you do about this Ryze?
Let's start with step number 1 here. What are we gonna do about that guy?
Third item on Keine helps, I will say.
Yeah, I mean the Flicker Blade is one of the biggest kind of multipliers for a Tristana. Still has a lot of ground to pick up though, and as you say, still hasn't upgraded the boots, so doesn't get the feats bonus either over there. Is in a currently 3-level deficit. He's about to get some experience here for level 16.
There we go. Just hits it off of that one minion, but can he defend the turret is the question. Baron apart minions, and he just gets chunked, man. The Varus poke on top of the Ryze, and just this one cannon minion might be enough here. Tomo's trying to do his best to clear it out, and will get it eventually, but that next wave could spell doom for the bottom turret, as we're also pushing mid. Lion in full control of this game, and that Baron power play is about to balloon into a big gold lead.
Yes, it is. I mean, it's a full minute and a half before the next dragon, but with the remnants of the Baron buff, they're just going to keep Dignitas pushed into their own base, take away as many little resources off the map as you can, as many little jungle camps, as well as destroying your vision plan.
And what I will say, we're learning a lot about Lion and how they play the game. Something we've talked about a lot so far is that we did not see many games of them on stage last split. Lyonz, their support wasn't even here. He was playing remote. And now, 2-game sample size, we are learning that they're a team that likes to play a very controlled game. They're not going for the most flashy plays, but it's all about timers and being where they want to be on the map at the right time. And Saint, the standout performer from last split, is also really stepping up as a prime carry in this league. Now, strength of schedule is another conversation to have. This is Lion versus DSG, and now Dignitas as the first 2 opponents, but they're on the cusp of what looks like could be another win here, as they're going to take all of the tier 2 turrets, get a very large gold lead. Really good start and really good turnaround for Lion in the 2025 season.
Yeah, and they've got a Realm Warp ready with an Arm Guard in inventory for Saint, so they basically continue to control the map, take as much as they can. They can't deny the blue buff, but take away the Raptors, and Saint's going back towards topside as well again to keep his pressure up. Again, Arm Guard for Ryze makes it so difficult to stop his split push. Has his flash, has his Realm Warp, has his Arm Guard, so the rest of the team can go set up around Dragon, and Saint will apply the pressure on the other part of the map. He's going for a recall now, though. What else does he have in inventory? Holy moly, how much money does this guy have?
Has a teleport, so we can always TP to this dragon. It's the Arm Guard.
You already had that.
And it's a Zonius. Wow. Fully upgraded Zonius. Didn't even have to use the Arm Guard. Dragon is up here. Dignitas are going to walk up, but Srtty's got to catch his top wave before he wants to TP in. Now the Realm Warp from Saint. Just massive damage on the Sheiden. He just gets bobbed like a balloon. Licorice, meanwhile, almost goes down. Explosive shot, not enough. True shot barrage. Sidestep. Oddie land in trouble as Srtty looks to make the hero play. Saint went deep in enemy territory. Might get punished. No! He's too tanky as the Ryze. Tomo cannot kill him. And Lion, they get out, not losing a single member, claiming 2.
All right, Tomo, careful. Tomo got chunked early on by Licorice. That's why Licorice was so low, and Licorice wants to come finish the job.
He TP topside. Tomo might not have realized. Has flash available, should be fine. Yeah, not going to go down, but that should be a free uncontested dragon for Lion now. Sheiden's still dead for another 10 seconds. No contest.
All right, so the start of it with the Realm Warp in. On the right side of your screen, you can see what I'm talking about. Tomo got chunked really low by Licorice, but then Licorice, that's why he had to get out of there immediately. And Ryze going past up into the back line. You see, he wanted to finish off Keine and Tomo, but he went past Srtty, so it was looking a little dicey until the turnaround here, and they just pop him. He's so fed. So much damage here.
Yeah, we highlighted the stasis from the Zonias earlier, and it bought so much time for the team to back him up.
All right, let's take a look here after the reset, though, because Baron is the next thing on the menu, only 40 seconds away here. And the critical flashes that were blown in the last one here. Big one for Wukong. You know, being able to use that with your ultimate is so huge for these team fights. Tomo is going to have a lot of mobility available to him, being Ezreal and having his flash available. So we'll see if he's able to keep up the pressure, if he's able to keep the hopes here for Dignitas in this game. Because Lion have amassed a 6,000 gold lead in addition to all their Infernal Dragons.
In addition to Baron spawning in 8 seconds, but they actually reset. Interesting to see Lions go for the reset. They had numbers advantage on the Baron. I thought they were just going to take it on spawn, since Srtty was bottom side, but looks like no immediate Baron take. Instead, it's Saint just using the phase rush to get away from Sheiden. Teleported from Keine as Dignitas will try and control the river here towards that big purple worm. Oh, they're just going to start it? I guess it's a 50-50 angle. I mean, they're so far behind in this game. Maybe this is going to work. They're shredding it really fast. Wow, Oddie Lane can't get in. That's just Baron taken by Dignitas. Lion, maybe they chase him down. No, they can't get on them. They might get one. Licorice jumps in, that's a rampage. Srtty goes down, but the rest of Dignitas in full retreat. Maybe Lions can stop this. Maybe Alistar can thwart the retreat. Here comes Licorice, flash away from Isle. Sheiden trying to buy space. Isle still in trouble. Sheiden rooted down, but they got back to the turret. Dignitas, get out of there.
They got a heist of their own. They get the Baron only dropping one. It is going to cost them this tower on top side, though, because Lion are going to keep pushing.
Okay.
But they have the Baron here, so one inhibitor isn't that bad of a deficit considering you were down 6,000 gold and you just ran to Baron and burned it.
And I'll say it again.
Big mistake from LYON there.
Yeah.
They didn't have vision of it, and they started walking away from it too. If you look at the moments leading up to that Baron, they were even mid lane and still started walking away from it. So not a lot of focus there on the critical objective. And Dignitas with a new meaning to Dignitas Baron.
True, usually those get thrown, statistically at least, but this time around they do secure it here as it's the teleport early, and you see how far away Licorice is from this play.
And so, yeah, look at
they
this.
also don't have vision on it.
I mean, yeah, you got to feel like it's going, though, and Licorice was kind of hovering to the other side of mid lane, so... I mean, they had the other ward leading up over to it. They knew they just teleported, so I mean, it's a good job by Dignitas by jumping over the walls and not actually walking on the vision, but still, you have to be a little bit more suspicious.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely LYON giving the window and not respecting the fact that Dignitas are willing to take it. So congrats to Dignitas. It's a Red Bull Baron power play, but it's only an 800 beneficial one. So minute left on that. I don't even think they're going to be able to hit a turret with this.
A large part of the benefit, though, is taking it off the map. Okay.
Well, I don't know if it's going to help the 1v1 very much here as Licorice and Srtty are fighting each other. Redemption not even going to land on Srtty because he's trying to run away from there. Knows that Oddie land is nearby and flash forward from the Wukong. Oddie land picks up the kill.
Hey, they get the kill in the ego battle on side lane. It's not gonna determine an objective, but it does relieve a lot of the pressure of the Baron.
Yeah.
So now your Baron that you talked about not having a big gold advantage isn't going to have a lot of pushing advantage, and Tomo's under attack.
Yeah, Sheiden's actually under attack as well. Woo. Saint has just so much damage. Saint on the Ryze is a threat to be feared. And Saint is the carry right now for LYON. Everybody else trying to use these Baron-empowered recalls to get away from there. Tomo's not going to make it out. Tomo's going to go down here. Flash and barrier, not even going to use them. Hena with the kill credit.
All right, Dignitas may have snuck away the Baron, but they are not going to retake control of Summoner's Rift. LYON will make sure of that. Saint will make sure of that. These Realm Warps again, catching them off guard. They chase them down, cutting off 2 Kangas. That just leaves your base wide open.
Yeah, this might be the game-ending push right here. LYON, they take down the first turret right now. They have Super still pushing topside pretty far away, so they'd have to do off of this wave. Instead, they're going to look at mid lane. They did this yesterday as well. They play very cautious at the end. Rather than going for the big push, they'll say, no, we will guarantee it by just shattering the opponent's base. That is all 3 inhibitors, but now LYONz actually goes back in. Srtty, the engaged target. Hard to lock down the Gwen and fully shut her down, but Saint's damage is just insane, man. Full build on the Ryze.
Yeah, well, that Ryze is about to get an Infernal Dragon as well.
Yeah.
Infernal Soul buff. So that is...
all 4 Infernal Dragons, too.
That is maximum DPS Ryze. Well, I guess he could sell his boots and get Sword Shield.
True. Oh, hey, close. I like the look, Tomo, but not going to work out here. And Dignitas, they're on the last leg. They're going to look for a miracle to close this one out with a victory. LYON on the precipice of a 2-0 start to their split 2. This would feel fantastic for the team that really struggled in that first split. It was a short one for them. 2 losses in best-of-3 series in a row. This would be a complete 180 from that. Yes, it's best of ones. There's going to be the group stage after this, but still, you're starting that momentum and you're showing us what we can expect from this team.
All right. 3 inhibitors down, and you've got all the buffs and the time in the world here, LYON. What are we going to do? Well, we're going to look for Keine again. Saint does have Realm Warp, but the super minions are lagging a little bit behind, so we'll have to wait for all these lanes to close in. You see bottom lane pushing itself down there, and the rest of LYON closing the loop. Everything around Dignitas here closing in. They have to make their last stand very soon here.
The walls are closing in. The Realm Warp's coming in. Keine in trouble. Able to buster shot 1, but cannot lock down Oddie land, and that means he is dead and dusted. Licorice over the top, pushes Isles back. Srtty's down. Double kill to Saint. Double kill, triple kill to Hena. LYON with the victory and a 2-0 start to their split 2.
Undefeated Lion Gaming here in the LTA.
Not a bad start for the team from the LLA. They struggled heavily in that first split, but this is a fantastic start to their split, to a resurgence for this roster. And again, riding that momentum, players talk about it. You can feel it when you get those wins stacked up. It can help with the mental. It can help with everything when it comes to scrims and preparing for that next weekend. Yes, again, strength of schedule, arguably on the easier side to start off, but a win is a win, and 2 is 2.
I like it. The flex pick Nafiri there for Licorice, taking it up into the top lane. Huge Ryze performance from a Saint. Hena with a lot of key snipes as well.
Yes.
You know, the Varus getting a lot of key snipes there, so it's a fun one. And it looks like we do have Emily on stage with Licorice to talk about some dogs.
Hello, I'm here with victorious Lion top laner Licorice after a really fun game for me to watch anyway. Was it as fun for you to play?
It was stressful. Like, I feel like whenever the game slows down like that on stage, it's just like one mistake is gonna like decide the game if you mess up. So it's just like, yeah, it's really stressful.
Talk me through a little bit about the Nafiri Gwen matchup, because we've talked a lot about how Gwen can be a flex pick and not nearly as much about how Nafiri can be one.
Yeah, I think Nafiri is actually just like quite a strong champion. I think like the immunity on W gives you some really interesting like trade patterns and angles. And I mean, when they reworked it, I just started playing a top lane. I was like, it's good, and no one else is doing it, so maybe someone else will copy. But I think it's really good and fun.
As someone who's heard behind the scenes of some things you didn't get to play, I'm happy we did get to see this one. That was really fun. 2-0, top of the standings. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you so much.
What do you think has been the biggest improvement, not just in terms of wins, right, but like in terms of on the team? You guys have had a lot more time to practice. What do you think has been the biggest improvement you've seen internally with the team?
I mean, it's kind of everything. Like for me, every new team I've ever joined, it's like you're starting from scratch. And so like the first week we're playing together, we're talking about like pushing lanes and like taking advantage of our fights. And then we're talking about objective fights. We're talking about Baron control. Like, it's always all the same thing. So I think we've gotten so much better at everything, and we're going to try to be a top team this year.
Nice. Well, congratulations. Thank you so much for taking the time to catch up with me. And we'll toss it to Jat and Raz